What's the word with you, bro?
Man, bro, it's been an eventful week. It's only Wednesday, truly getting over the hump.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I can say is a thing today. Yeah, man, just going through this I got a hand injury on the job.
What happened with that?
A trash can cut my hand, and I was moving it. I was trying to, take one of the pins out the can, because I work in a high rise. Outside of the music, I work as a custodian. For those that don't know, we gotta pay our bills. We gotta have something out here to pay our bills, man. Like, I don't believe 100%. In the whole starving artist thing anymore. That was something I did at a point in time, but that's a story for another day. But either or, I was at work today, man, and I was moving a trash can, man, and as I was moving it, I had, kind of moved the can in a way where it was propped back and then it flung towards the wall, but my hand was between the can and the wall. So it collided, my hand got cut in the process. So, I had to go get some stitches. So I'm sitting here in a bit of pain. But it was a lot of hidden gems, like a lot of good messages that came, in between just everything that was going on. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I'm in a good space, man. Life is well. The other night, I did a party for... I got called to do a party, right? With no, understanding of what was gonna really happen as I'm rocking a party, getting ready to close the night out. The bartender comes over and she says, hey, can you stay for an extra 20 minutes? They're on their way. She doesn't say who they is.
It's odd, but okay, yeah.
Right. She don't say who they is, right? So I'm like, man, this is gonna be dope. I just have a feeling that it's gonna be dope. I just know that it's gonna be dope. I'm like, right, it's gonna be dope. Yeah. So I just go into just what we do in TK mode, so to speak,
Yeah.
And then as I'm playing and where I'm positioned, I could look outside the window and see who's arriving. So I just see an Escalade pull up, right? But the window of the Escalade is down.
Who you see?
And I just see arms just dancing, just dancing, just
having
lit.
a good time.
And I'm just like, bro. And for those that are listening, the best way I could say it, it was the motorcycle dance. I don't know if it's called that, but it's the 2006, the young jock is going down, you know what I'm saying? The arm, that's the best way I can really describe it, right?
Yeah,
so I'm just in my mind, I'm like, yo, whoever this person is lit. They lit. All right, this is about to be a good time, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So as the door opens, I just see this tall figure appear. And then I see a hat. I'm like, yo, that's fucking Cam Newton.
What?
Bro, Cam Newton walks in this party, bro. Cam Newton walks in this bar, bro. And then that's
can't make this shit up.
I can't make this shit up, bro. Cam Newton walks in this bar. It's 12 a.m. on a Tuesday. Tuesday morning, to put this in perspective.
On a Tuesday.
Truly, and I'm just sitting back in my mind yo, this is what is going on right now? Then
right, trying to process.
Another tall figure appears. I mean, what the fuck? It's Brandon Marshall. Brandon fucking Marshall.
What the fuck?
So we're from Chicago, right? We're in Chicago.
Right.
Bear down.
Yes.
This is Brandon.
Obviously,
this is Brandon Marshall, bro. I'm sitting back yo, and let me put this in perspective, right?
Right.
I'm a real Patriots fan. No, excuse me, I'm a real Tom Brady fan. And at the time I was really rooting for the Patriots because that's where Tom was.
Yeah, of course.
But I spent a lot of time watching these Bear games. You know what I'm saying? So Brandon Marshall walks in, and I'm sitting back yo.
I'll be bugging out low key.
This is like in my mind, I'm like, bro, I can't pull out my phone.
Right. You got to be cool. You can't be on no fan shit.
I can't pull out my phone. I'm like, it never happened. I'm like, this is a night that is gonna be dope. That probably it never happened to the world, but. It happened, man. It ended up being like a pass the aux kind of vibe. Imagine like a versus, but with vibes, right? Like they like, all right, let's take it to Memphis. So then they're suggesting Memphis artists' songs to me. So that goes on, man. But all in all of this happens, man. Like all of this has happened within a week. But my hand, playing for these guys, man, and I'm feeling a magnitude of emotions, just being all the way honest. But for the most part, man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm blessed to be here, bro. We here. We getting this thing off the ground. How are you feeling, bro? What's going on in your world, bro? Talk to me.
Man, bro, everything's been good, bro. I mean, I can't complain, bro. Like, I remember, y'all came over, you and the homegirl Danielle, man, and, since... Yeah, shout out Danny.
Shout out, sis.
But yeah, y'all came over, man, and we chopped it up, and we were just talking about music, bro. Like, so since then, like, I just been trying to stay locked in with this music shit, man, and I've been seeing a lot of the stuff that y'all been doing, bro, and like it's been real inspiring, bro. Like, like I see you out there, like, you're doing the R&B night and stuff like that, and like, really just getting involved with the community and building that community, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that I've been seeing from you that's been inspiring to me, and other than that, man, like, been struggling a little bit with, anxiety, depression, and shit like that, but I feel like that's everybody, these days. Like, everyone goes through something that we don't know about, that we don't see, so it's like, just fighting those battles, bro, but at the same time, like, just learning to give myself more credit for shit, like, like, as you're fighting those battles, like, you know what I mean? Because we could be our hardest critic, so it's like giving yourself that credit, being nice to yourself, stuff like that. Like, real self-care, real self-love type shit. So that's the kind of vibe that I've been on lately, bro. But thank you for asking, bro. Everything's been good, though.
Other than that, man. That's important. And we got to kick things off like that because check-ins are highly important. That goes beyond just doing this because the mic's on. This is really this is how our phone calls go. It don't matter what we calling about. It could be like the smallest favor, the smallest question, but
turn into a whole conversation.
Like it's like we don't do 5-minute phone calls. It's extremely rare that happens. Like, or if that happens, it's like, yo, I'm outside, or like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You feel
like
me?
We about to link or some shit.
Exactly.
Like,
it's not like we really do. We prioritize the check-in. You know what I mean? So,
we're something that is very like underappreciated lately. In my opinion,
man, you got to check in on your people. You know what I mean? And I would say that is something that has been weighing on me in a different kind of way lately, right? So,
elaborate.
Something that's been new in my space is dating, right? I was in relationships in a lot of my young adult teenage years, right? I did the relationship thing frequently. And what was interesting about that is, like, in between me doing these relationships, I never took time to just, like, date as a single man, as a single, young person. So what's interesting now is just being at 26 is getting out here and dating now, but dating in a space where you gotta be like, you can't date from the headspace of like being 18 or being 21 or any of that. Like, you gotta date in a 26
like right
mind
now.
frame in which you're in. Like, you got you gotta
it's
date.
always changing.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I would say that's been very different for me, just kind of learning how to like maneuver those spaces, right? It's something I never really envisioned myself going through. But it's actually been more fun than anything else. It's been very educational, just like meeting just different women and
that'd be crazy, bro. 'Cause, like everyone's different. You know?
Yeah,
Like everyone likes different things.
Yeah.
Everyone dislikes different things. What this one might think is a big deal, this one might think is like they don't care. Like, you know.
Exactly. And for me, I'm a sucker for buns, bro. Like, and when I say that, I'm like, I think
I feel that.
I think it's just pretty simple as I said it, right? Like, I love being able to just have like a natural bond and being able to hit it off like well with people. You know what I mean? And I think that's been something that I've been exploring as I've been stepping more into this territory, because I've noticed that like I hit it off well with people, right?
100%.
I just enjoy the privacy of my own company and the company of my loved ones. That's the best way to say it. It's not that I don't like socializing or I don't prefer being an extrovert. It's just I have the tools. I just enjoy using them when necessary, right? For me, like, if I have some free time, you're not just gonna find me just like outside
just doing whatever.
Yeah, and it's not to knock that, but it's just to say that's something that's been different for me. So I would say even allow myself to try that, right? To even just say like, yo, I'm gonna go to this bar tonight. You know what I mean? Like, especially for me being a DJ, like I get in my head a lot. You know, like I DJ without DJing. Like, I'm like, man, I'll play this song or so I think for me,
I feel like as a man, it's real easy to do that.
Yeah, it's just real easy to figure out how can you control. Like, it's easy to get in your head of being in that space of how can I like be the curator of whatever this is going on. Like, how can I be the creator or the, you know what I mean? So I think just
you walk in with a vibe, you walk in with a presence.
Exactly. So I think what's been dope about dating has been it's allowed me to really just understand the importance of just like, I think in everything we do in life, it's important to walk in itself, right? But what I love about just women, man, like they have a beautiful way of like checking in the door in various ways. I think we all do, but women have it in just a different kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Be making it look good.
yeah, man. You know, like it kind of just goes back to that saying, "Mama knows best," right? Like, it's just like you could just count on. Like, so it's just being able to like being in this, like just being in a space where I'm entering like this dating arena just very honestly and openly, but also being reminded that I still got work to do, bro. Like, as a man, as a single man, just like I still got work to do, but I can't be afraid of running from the current situation, meaning that I can't go ghost.
Like if this situation doesn't work out, then just fuck it. I'm just not gonna reply or this and that.
It's not even, bro. I've had a terrible, like a lot of things have crashed and burned for me because me, like and it's been that reality lately, right? Just that thing of like, damn, bro, I've been in my own way in this way by. Like, I look for a reason to not connect with somebody and then just be like, yeah, that's gonna be a problem, and like slowly but surely pull myself back via conversation, via the rate in which I communicate. Like, it's like I get comfortable, right? But it's been me noticing that in this realm of dating has helped me realize that I've had this tendency just in life in general. So I would say just dating itself is just reminding me. I had a conversation with my coworker a while back, and he told me that he said I treat life like the rules. He's like, I treat morals like the root of the rules of the road or something like that. And essentially what he was saying was
your direction.
Like, if you have just a good moral compass in a lot of ways, like a lot of the same things are gonna apply in different situations. So
the lessons you learn,
exactly. So like when you drive, one of the things he immediately threw out there, he said, I drive for everybody. When you drive for everybody. You don't just drive for self. So he said, I treat life like that. When I love for everybody. When I do things, I do things for everybody. It's not just, I don't just live for me, essentially. It's a bigger purpose in all of this. So to bring all of this back to what I'm saying about dating, it's just reminding me that like it really is a bigger purpose and just existing outside of music and existing outside of work and existing outside of church and existing outside of family. Just like it's just like really enjoying just this space and again just being able to create different bonds and just having fun, like being able to just go catch mood, like just different things, man. Like
Everything runs together though. It seems like
Yeah.
you know, like you can't have one without the other. Like you know,
Facts.
everything is relative. Like something you might do here will affect something in this aspect or something in that aspect. But what I'm getting from, you know, a lot of what you're saying is like, you know, you like just the learning process. Everything is a learning process, you know, and you know, you're picking up the things that are important to you, and you're being aware and you're making adjustments. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something that would separate you from somebody else or someone who might be looking for that kind of guidance. Is like, yo, just do it, bro. You know what I mean? Stop thinking. Another thing that we were talking about that has to do with these kinds of things are the feelings that we be having. Like when you first wake up, you know, like you might have that feeling like if you're not a morning person, like, damn, you don't feel like getting up, you tired, you this and that, whatever. But that feeling, that's the thing that you got to ignore a lot of the time. Like just get up and just do that shit. You know what I mean? Because
It's a fact.
like if we base things off feeling, a lot of the time, like we don't take action, you know, and
Gonna be hitting snooze.
yeah, man, like for real, like and a lot of people I be seeing like yo, you just gotta do it. Like I'm one of those people, right? Like that's just like an overthinker, you know. Like I'm always in my head too, like you were talking about. And like the biggest thing that I find that's helping me now currently is just like don't even think. And like that's the craziest thing for an overthinker, right? But like just do, bro. Like and things will fall into place. Like you'll see like as you take action, that's how you find inspiration. You know, like we could spend a lot of time just sitting around waiting for inspiration to happen, but it's never gonna happen. Or it's never gonna be the right moment to do something. You have to do it right now. You know, in my opinion. But yeah, man.
I agree, and I think being a creative man in a space where you are an artist, you just naturally think about like, man, like how can I turn this into something? You know, no matter what it is, it's just always that space of just like, how can I turn this into something? And it's like, sometimes it don't even be you trying to think about it. It's just like, sometimes it's the soul, it's the spirit that comes out in you. And it's just like, man, you know, like as you go through all of this, you just like, man, you hear a beat. And then you just start, you know, next minute you know you nodding and the words just start coming to you, and you know, like it like
Pull something out of you.
for example, what you played before we started recording, right? And I'm just sitting back like vibe. I'm sitting there like, bro, was really like whatever you was really in that zone of whatever you was feeling in that moment. You was really in that space, and that's a different type of awareness, man. That's a different type of feeling. It's a different type of just space to be in life. You know what I mean? And I didn't understand that until as of recently. You know what I mean? So I think the interesting part about being an artist, again, is like we translate that feeling to a piece of art, to a work. You know what I mean? And for some of us, we put it out to the public, right? You know what I mean? Like we put
It takes a lot to do that too.
It takes a lot, and that's something I'm going through it right now, right? Like just this whole space of like, y'all need to drop this. I need to put this music out.
So,
you know,
speak a little bit more about like your process, like when it comes to like just dropping music.
so my mentality is I don't want to drop anything that I can't look back on and feel that I have to erase it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put anything out there in the world where it's like, yeah, this is gonna hurt me.
No second thoughts.
Exactly. And
No maybes.
I think what's been hard about that is just cancel culture. You know what I mean? For me, a lot of people think I have this nonchalant mentality, and in a lot of ways I do, but I do give a fuck. Like I really do give a fuck, especially when it comes to my art, man. And I care about how it's presented. I care about the quality. I care about the production. I care about the business. I care about the angles of it, right?
You really got a love for it.
Yeah, I got a love for it, man. And I think it's hard not to have a love for it when you've invested in it. Like my whole life has been invested in me being around music and, you know, seeing the way it connects to people in real time. So it's interesting being a DJ that raps because you play the biggest records. You play some of the quote unquote largest records of a lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. For a certain crowd, for a certain demographic. And a lot of things that kind of goes through your mind is like, how can I translate? Like, how can I get this in here? Like, you know what I mean? Or, you know, just last night, me and Doughboy was out having some tacos. You know, it was Taco Tuesday. We was enjoying the vibe. Yo. Shout out to Jay Boomer too, man. You know, that was a DJ, man. He was in there cutting up last night.
Shout out to family.
You feel me? Always family business over everything. You know, we stand on that. So, but we was in a space and Boomer dropped his record. He dropped another hit from Sign CEO. Excuse me, I had a moment. But he dropped another hit from Sign CEO. And the way he transitioned the song was, you know, he used the acapella for a different record, but he brought the instrumental from another hit in. And that's the dope part about Serato too. Like, you know, you got stems now, so now you could just hit a button and take you could just do that within seconds, right? Like we didn't send him these different variations of the record, which is what was once done at a point in time. You used to have to sit there and really get the instrumental, get the acapella, get the TV version. Track, get the clean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
every version.
It's interesting being in a space now where it's like things are changing so rapidly, and just really being in this space where you're a consumer because you have to go out there and DJ and provide music for a handful of events. So you have to hear other people's music in real time and still be able to create your own and still be able to feel confident enough to put it out. And I think what's been just giving me a lot of confidence as of lately is being out there as a DJ, right? As you've mentioned, I've this past weekend we did Do Not Disturb R&B. Shout out to DJ A-Ball. Unc really came through and blessed, man. And we had a ball, man. We will be running it back. Shout out to the W Hideaway Lounge, man. We just secured the Hideaway for December. Each and every Saturday, man. We kicking off Paradise Saturdays, you know what I mean? You know, come find your paradise in the Hideaway. You feel me? What we doing?
You gotta come through. You already know the vibes, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, it's a blast, man. But being out there in real time and, you know, doing these events, again, playing music for Cam Newton, playing music for Brandon, like, but also just, again.
That's crazy, by the way. Let me just say that. Like,
but think about it. You're in these spaces where you're seeing music, like, impacting just people, right? And you just saying to yourself, how can I give a feeling? How can I translate a feeling? And
that's a hard thing to do for real, though.
It's hard, bro, because what also goes through my mind is, am I the only one that's just feeling this? And me and Doe had a long conversation about that last night. Just, man, am I the only one that's feeling this? And what was dope was, as Jay Boomer, to bring that whole scene back to perspective, as Jay Boomer dropped another hit and brought the full track in, right? Just to see the vibe of the room and how the music moved the room, and the conversation we were having was, you know, what fulfills us in the process of making the music. And as he was mentioning was, he said, you know, seeing how the listeners receive the music and seeing how it's interpreted amongst every different person, because
It's
everybody
always gonna be
receives things
different.
differently. Exactly. So it's one of those things, man, where just learning how to get out of my own way in that space of just being an overthinker, as we've been mentioning, like, taking my own advice. I dish it out to y'all all the time. I tell everybody else, like, man, get out your own way. Like, stop doing all these things. Like,
Religiously.
between me and you, bro, I've been sitting on my masters for a year now. You see what I'm saying? So it's been that thing of also, too, just figuring out the strategy.
I was just gonna say you're trying to figure out the rollout and shit like that.
Because for me, follow up is everything. Like I have struggled with consistency for a long time, but how you
Same
gonna
here.
be consistent with something you never start?
Right. I mean,
Make it
you
make
gotta
sense.
just do it, bro.
Exactly.
We were talking about it too, like making things make sense. That's one thing that gets in the way of like me as an overthinker. Like things have to make sense before I get up and like take action, And if it's not something that's like, it doesn't even have to physically be on paper, but like quote unquote, if it's on paper, then it's like, all right, we got a plan, we could do this and that. But sometimes the approach, when you approach it that way, like that might not be the best way to approach it. The best way to approach it might be just to like dive in. Straight up, because then you're really gonna get a feel for the shit. You're really gonna see it firsthand, and experience is like there's like nothing like it. Like you could talk about something, you could read about something, you could watch about it, or you could live it. And like that's the best experience you can get, in my opinion.
As the year prepares to turn over, what's been the fun part of the do for you?
Fun
or just
part.
in life in general, what's been the fun part lately of the do? What's been the fun part of living? What's been the fun part of recording? What's been fun, man? Let's speak on fun,
The fun part of it for me, being a chronic overthinker, is not thinking at all. Doing in the do, being in the moment probably. Like while you're in the quote unquote the do, like just the freedom in the moment. Because when you're not in your head and you're really engaged in whatever it is you're doing, it could be music, it could be drawing, it could be painting, it could be whatever it is that you do that you enjoy. Like really being locked in, quote unquote, like that's where I find joy. That's where I find fun in what I'm doing. Another thing could be, let's say I'm streaming or something and somebody hops in on chat and we start having a random conversation or whatever. They might be talking about the game I'm playing, or they might be asking about another, and we just spark up a conversation, and it could be with a random person, a stranger, whatever. They start out as a stranger, but then it turns into like, oh yeah, I was playing whatever, he jumped in, and then they start jumping into the stream more consistently. Then you end up playing games with them or something. Like that's what's dope to me. Like it's like you're creating a community of like-minded people where people could go, where they could feel safe, where we could just have a good time, and we can not worry about the shit about like, the stresses of life, and we could kind of just just be and enjoy our time. Like that's something that really inspires me and really just makes me want to keep doing the things that I'm doing. But yeah, I mean that's what it's been for me personally. How about yourself though?
I like that. For me, I would say performance. Like there's just because it's an art in creating it, but it's an art in connecting it to the people as well, right? When you are before just a crowd, an audience, and you have that great, like it's for some people that could be the first impression of the music. For others, it could be just the first impression live, right? They've heard it, they've consumed it time and time again, right?
Yeah.
But so it's just these moments, right? And that has been just extremely fun for me, man. Just being able to get out here and perform as a DJ, right? That has truly motivated me and inspired me to speed up the process on just releasing content, right? Because you realize that this helps. Like it helps market your brand. It helps market not only like market, but it helps you stamp like a
leave
current
your
space.
like leave your mark in a way.
Yeah, you leave your mark. You like in a way, it's like you leave your mark of where you are.
Leave an impression on people too.
Yeah, you know. So for me, it's been very important to just like get that out because I think I'm a very private person. Like I don't really, you know, like these days I don't really post as much as I once did. I don't really, you know, it's like if you don't know me, you don't really know what's going on. But if you know me, you know what's going on, you know? And I think I put a lot of what's going on in my music. I put a lot of, you know, I dive into a lot of things. So I'm interested in being in a space where I can perform this music before a crowd because even just when I play it amongst people, it's just the way it connects to people, the way people are just like, oh, wow, that's you. So, but like I really, I be rehearsing, man. Like it, so it be, and it's just a fun, like rehearsals are fun for me. So I'm really looking forward to that experience, that future experience of actually getting out there and performing my music.
I was just gonna ask that, like, how excited are you to like get in front of a crowd and like just let it all go?
I'm not excited about that. I'm not. Just to be very honest, I'm nervous as shit about that, right? Okay. Because I always just want to be like, I want the performance to be extremely well. So I understand that it's just a shit ton of work that has to go into preparing for that. I look forward to that, right? I look forward to that part of it. I'm excited about the work that I have to put.
It's a very interesting thing to be excited about as a part of the process.
Yeah, it's more so just like, but the actual performance itself, because it's just so much anxiety that occurs in that moment that you just have to,
like leading up to it.
Yeah. And I think I believe that excitement really kind of strikes more so afterwards, like as it's happening and afterwards. Right. It's hard to really like, for me, because I feel like when I get excited before things, it helps me not, like I don't really perform the way in which I wanted to.
Well, could maybe overconfidence, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that?
You can fuck it up. You can really fuck it up. It's like between me, kind of goes back to the whole thing with women, right? Or just for those who, you know, go a different way, they go a different way, right?
Right.
But at least when I talk to a woman, like, it's been moments where I felt extremely confident. I'm like, man, this about to work.
Right. Like you just be in your bag. Like you already think,
this fit, without like this cut.
Yeah.
She not gonna say no to me.
Right.
Until she say no to me.
Right.
Then it's like, damn, she's saying no to me.
Right. And dealing with the reaction to that.
Right. So for me, it's just, or it's the, damn, she said yeah to me and I wasn't prepared for her to say yeah to me.
Right.
So it's more so just making sure you prepared either way. Like, it's just like making sure, like, that expectation isn't there. It's more so just like, we gonna go out there and we gonna do this. Like, my job is to go out there and show up and put my all into that shit. It's not
do it at the highest level you can.
Yes, to do it at the highest level. So for me, it's more of it's like I'm going out there to have fun, but I enjoy the grit of it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy the connectivity of it, but you know, for me, it's more so like I want to like enjoy the conversation that I have with you afterwards about how you enjoyed it versus like, you know,
I feel like that'll be dope.
Yeah, like it versus just like I'm smiling. Like, I mean, you gonna obviously have those moments where you're looking at the crowd and you smiling, but I always think about this moment where Michael Jackson was just on stage and he just like stood there. And the crowd just going crazy for like minutes.
Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
It's just the
there's like a clip where he like moves or he does like some small movement and like someone faints in the crowd. Yeah, you're just like, faints, what the fuck?
She literally faints.
Yeah, excuse my language.
So it's just that for me, I enjoy just like the seriousness of it. Like, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's different because
You're about your business, really.
yeah, and it's like I want you to get that impression. I want us to really go on the journey and enjoy it, but I really want us to really. I want you to see that I take that part serious as well too. Like I want you to really enjoy that part just as much as you enjoy and like the same way you had an experience when you heard it, when you consumed it, whether it was via listening in your car, you going, you on a bus or you walking to class or something like that. I want you to remember that distinct moment of me and you being in the same room as this is happening live. Like I want you to remember that and
You created memories
where you exactly
for people,
exactly. So
with people too.
you feel me? Like I was right here when this moment happened. I guarantee you, it's people that still telling the story of when Michael Jackson stood still. Like I was there when that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and for me, it's
That's
just
the stuff of somebody great for real. Let me just say that, because like when you build that kind of relationship, rapport, bond with people, like you know what I mean. Like there's trust. There's trust there. They feel like they can trust you as an artist, as a person. They can go to your music and they can feel safe. You know what I mean? And that kind of sounds similar to like creating that community. You know what I mean? Where people feel like they can come and it's like you're not gonna, sell them something or like just like try to tell them something that would put them in any kind of situation or any kind of like negative place. You know what I mean? They know that they could come to you, and this is really like you say, like family business. Like
right.
like you really come through.
And right now, I will also just say this regarding the music, regarding the performance, just regarding the mentality in general. This is just where I'm at now, right? And this is I'm looking for these things to grow. I'm really excited for these spaces and places to grow as I continue to grow. You feel me? Like I'm looking forward to those moments where I'm just excited to do these things. But again, like I just know and understand that it's gonna be a little bit hard. Like it's just gonna be it's that grit that you gotta gain, like have for the steps that are ahead. Again, this is something that I'm starting. I'm new in this arena. I'm new in the rapping arena. I'm new in the artist arena.
Okay.
I've been a DJ, but I'm new in the artist arena, so it's still having that respect to the process. I'm not skipping steps. I don't plan on skipping steps.
And let me just say that as far as like not skipping steps, like everyone, and I won't say everyone, I won't be a blanket statement, but a very good size of people want things right now. They want the instant gratification is like a thing, a very big thing in our society. And like when it comes to putting in work for something that you love or a craft that you're like just starting out or investing in or whatever it is, like it really shows that some people just want to cut corners, sometimes. And it shows in the product, it shows in their presentation, it shows in many other aspects that I'm not gonna name right now. But with what you're saying, like that's another huge difference between you and the next person is that like you really give a fuck about what you're doing, you know, and it shows.
And that's the part. The last thing you just said, and it shows. Right? It's making sure that's the biggest thing. Like I don't want it to just be me having these conversations. I want it to be where the art can really sit. It could stand for itself. Van Gogh isn't alive to speak on the Mona Lisa. That's Van Gogh, correct?
I think it might be Michelangelo, but I don't even know.
Shoot,
I don't know, but it's not a
y'all
big deal.
y'all know. Hey man, blame.
It's all for the sake of the analogy.
Blame our brains, not our heart.
Hey, yeah, heart's in the right place. Like, I don't gotta be 100% all the time. The internet can just do whatever they do, and I don't care, bro. So
that's something we gonna work on too. Just being, making sure that part of it is all done. You feel me? But just like again, Beethoven isn't alive to really speak on his works, but they speak for themselves. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Same thing with a James Brown or, man, just there's guys that are still alive where their old work still speaks for itself. Nas Illmatic, we're celebrating the 50th year of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Nas
Shouts
released
to that.
Illmatic, I believe, at 16.
Crazy.
So you gotta really think about the space.
It is crazy.
But just how groundbreaking of a project it was, just in a sense of the production, in the sense of just his, like, all of these different things, man. So it's just understanding that everything is not going to be an illmatic moment, right? But it's understanding that I'm striving for something that's just as great, but in my own way. You know what I mean? Just really just embracing the hard work that has to be put in that comes with that. Bro, I was in the hospital hours ago. Like, I'm in pain. We sitting here in pain, bro. Like, you just said, you going through your own things, right? And we're pushing through. And I think that's what it's all about. When it's all said and done, how are you pushing through what you're going through? Like, how are you pushing through the adversity that comes with the journey of you rising as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a student? You know, how are you dealing, how are you really living, you know? And who are you living with? We from Chicago, you know, we look at Bernie Mac as an uncle for real, you know. Or even if you're not from Chicago, for those who grew up, I'm a 90s baby. I grew up watching the Bernie Mac show. And, you know, the show would start with that, who you with? You feel me? And that made me always think about, who am I with in life? You know what I mean? Like,
Who you keep around.
Who's my family?
Yeah, that's real.
Who the family? Because, again, if it's family business over everything, what's over everything? So who are we doing it for? Who are we living it for? You know what I mean? So it's just keeping it all in the frame of mind, and that even that is at your lowest moments, man, that this thing is bigger than you, and you on a purpose. Like, you here, you know, and it's, how can we just capitalize on being in the here? How can we capitalize on being in the now and being in the moment?
To speak on, too, what you were talking about, you know, family business, right? This brings you back to another moment from, well, probably like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Probably like a week ago. You had went to the smoke shop, I'm pretty sure, and you had walked in, and there was this lady you struck up a conversation with. I'm pretty sure her name was Carla, I think. And she was an older lady, you know, and you were just telling her, you know, like, she wanted, like, some promotion for the shop, whatever. You were a DJ and this and that. And it started out with that. But then, you know, she started asking more questions, and, you know, you kind of, like started telling her your story and, like, you know, music and what it does for you, and, like, you know, trouble kid and overcoming adversities, and, you know, making a positive out of a negative and stuff. And, like, you really just took the time, though, to, like, really talk with her, and, like, you know, and listen to her too, because then she started telling her story, you know what I mean? Like, she started, like, opening up and stuff, and, like, that's what's really important. Like you're really taking the time to, like, build those bonds with people, and, like, that's something that people don't do, like, straight up. Like, that's something that people don't do as often as they should. I will say, and I'm not gonna say no one does it, but I wish I would see more of it. You know what I mean? And like, that's really where the core of family, I feel like, family business. You know what I mean? Like, it's real, bro. You know what I mean? Like, this is some shit that, you know, is just like you said, it's on paper. Like, this is some shit that you live with every day, and you embody it. You know what I mean? It's like trying to be the example for something better. You know what I mean? And all we can do is just try to be better than we was the day before. You know?
And the beauty in that, man, is that, again, I mentioned this when you asked about how I'm feeling. I mentioned the whole story of me learning a lesson, a magnitude of lessons while going through this journey with my hair, right? Today, I got an x-ray. And this gentleman that gave me this x-ray happened to be a black man, you know? And he was the only black man working in the hospital. It was nothing but women. Nothing but women. I mean, like, aside from, like, the security guard staff, the police presence that's there, right?
Right.
He was, like, the janitors as well, right? You know, but he was the only, like, black male or just male presence I seen on that side.
Right.
And I just thanked him. Just thanked him, bro. I just said, yo, thank you, bro, for being you. Because it warms my heart to see us on the other side, bro. I say this is like this is a rare experience for me. And he said something to me that I just thought was just special. He said, "Hey man, I'm just trying to be the change I want to see."
That's real.
And that is everything, man. That's all we gotta. And that just it stuck with me on something different, man. And I think that's just something I just keep with me in everything that I do. You know, just try to be the change you want to see. Like even on my bad days, bro. The beauty in being a custodian is that you deal with residents, bro. Like I deal with real live residents, you know, and they don't always have the best days or the best experiences or the best like just they don't have just the best all the time. You feel me?
Right.
But I don't have the best all the time. But we come together and we make it work for the sake of, you know, that building operating. Somebody saved me today. It was like, man, da 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 da. Like they had their complaint, and then I gave them a response. I was like, hey man, look, this is what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And once he understood, where like we had that understanding of like, man, like all right, us continuing to have this conversation ain't gonna really add to the problem being resolved. Right, it went our own ways, and it's peaceful. And I think at times that's all we need, man, is just keeping in mind that if we're not adding to if things aren't adding to the melting pot or whatever we really focused on, man, is
right, to the goal,
exactly.
to the focus, to the positive like energy we're trying to put out. Like if it's not putting towards, it's taking away.
Exactly. So that's why it's family business over everything, because you know, I'm a Christian man. You know, I go to a Baptist church, so I would say I'm a Baptist man, so to speak, right? So I say God, you know, God first. I always say God first, and I say family business over everything. So for me, it's like you know, I'm putting God and family before myself. You know, and that's big, and I think what that does is, man, it just keeps things in perspective. Like I spent so much of my life just being in a space where I felt lost because I didn't understand my purpose of functioning. I didn't understand just my, like, where I stand in things. And it goes back to the conversation we was having earlier before we started recording, just finding that peace. And you probably don't find it right then and there in the midst of the storm, but finding it, you know, years after, you know, you find that peace. And man, that storm done passed years ago, but you finding it and just really going through those emotions of finding it, right? Because it's still the emotional thing where it's like, you know what I mean?
Right, that relief, yeah.
And giving yourself that whole thing. So I think it's just important to just understand where you are and understand where your people are, especially right now, man. It's wintertime. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on in the world.
It's cold, yeah.
It's man, you know, so it's just important to just understand where you are and what you got going on, because it's easy to slip into depression. You know what I mean? It's easy to slip into that, bro. And I want to ask you about this before we get out of here, right?
For sure.
How did it feel for you to admit that that was a space that you were in, not just to me as a brother, but to the listeners, right? Because you didn't just come in here and just, you know, say that to me, but you said it to us.
Right.
How did it feel for you to say that out loud? How did it feel for you to put that out in the open?
I feel like it felt good, honestly, because, like, looking at it in the perspective of, like, I'm sharing this so other people can maybe use it for themselves, like, that's why it feels good, honestly, because it's like, yeah, it was something that bothered me. Yeah, it was something that still bothers me. But it's like we working through it. And, like when me, you, and bro had linked up and we went to go eat and stuff, and it was one thing that bro told me that I still be remembering is after we were talking about, we were catching up, all of us. Like, you know, you told what was going on with you, what was going on with him, what was going on with me. And he had said, he's like, bro, he's like, you're in a way better space than you think you are, bro. And like that shit like hit me. I don't know why. And like it was just something that I just keep going back to like lately, because it's just like if I look back on how things were a couple of years ago before my grandparents passed, like things was wild. You know what I mean? Like just the kind of people that was coming around, the kind of energy that was around. Like I felt like everything was falling apart, and like like I was losing two people that I love the most at the same time. But like all of that like was actually a good thing, and you have to look at it as a good thing because it's like it'll tear you apart, it'll eat you away, you know. And then you start becoming bitter, you start becoming angry, you start like things start coming out as far as like energy and whatever, like things start to come out that you don't want to come out, like and it might be towards people that you love that you're not your intention wasn't to do that, but it's getting to a point where it's almost uncontrollable. And like if it ever gets that bad for somebody, like that's why I want to do it. Like that's why I feel like I don't have a problem with being open about it, because it's like I know what it felt like to be there, and I know there are probably other people who are there or are probably in a worse place. So it's like if I could, you know, be there to help in any way, shape, or form, if they could take my pain, or if they can take something that I've been through that's relatable that they might have or whatever, and they can use it to keep going another day instead of, you know, checking out, you know, we here to check in, you know what I mean? So like that's the kind of shit I just want to be on. And to answer your question, that's the reason why, you know, I do it, and how it feels and why it feels, I guess.
Yo, and I thank you for that, you know, and I'm pretty sure there's some listeners that's very appreciative of that as well, because it is a difficult thing to say that out loud sometimes, and over time it gets easier, you know what I mean? But you got to start somewhere. Again, it goes back to this whole journey of putting content out, or even just shooting your shot with the ladies, or just shooting your shot in life in general, man. You have to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And it's all applicable, you know? So we just hope that everybody's out there just trying, making an effort towards a better version of yourself. You know, we're all figuring this thing called life out. It's difficult for all of us. You know, we all going through these daily struggles and different obstacles and adversities, man. But just make sure that you standing on something, man. Make sure you surrounding yourself with those that you really love and you care about, and make sure that y'all are checking in with yourselves, but making sure y'all checking in with each other, man. Go pull up on grandma, man. Go bring grandma some chicken or something. You know what I mean? You feel me? Go pull up on your girl, man. Go bring her some flowers. You feel me, ladies? You know, hit up your friends and go have a movie night, or go do a paint and sip or something. You know what I'm saying? Come to the hideaway. You feel me? But on a real serious note, man, like we really just wish y'all just love and peace out here, man. We thank y'all for vibing with us through this pilot, and man, just take care, stay warm, and stay safe. We love y'all, and
man.
we out of here. Peace.
Peace.